Hi everybody, thank you for watching. I'm Melissa Makan, the founder of the Yoga Nidra Academy. Today's video is all about my personal journey into Yoga Nidra. I first started my journey a few years ago now, and ever since it has really made quite a difference to my life actually on a very personal level. I first found Yoga Nidra through searching on YouTube for something that would just help me sleep at night. I was really struggling. I was working in the corporate world. I'd also run my own businesses, and I was very pressured, as we all are. And I just needed to sleep. I felt if I can just sleep, then I can manage my mindset, I can manage my workload, I can focus better. So I tried to find something that would help me sleep, and what came up on YouTube was a fantastic Yoga Nidra for sleep. So I listened to that and that was it. I was gone. I loved the voice. I loved what she was instructing. It was easy, it was simple, and her voice just helped me feel so assured. That was it. I was listening to this track every night. Sometimes I found myself listening to it in the middle of the day, during a work break, during lunch. Now I'm always on the go. I've always naturally been a very high energy person, and with that comes lots of stress. Everybody experiences stress anyway, but for me it became just a natural part of my life. So listening to this track every day, I could not believe the difference it was making to me. I could not believe how relaxed I was, but more importantly, I never known myself that way. And I thought, if this on its own is doing this for me, what could it do for everyone else? What could it do for everyone else that hasn't heard of it? What could it do for people that are not doing this and instead are, like I was, finding other ways to relax? But this connected with me on such a deeper level. It felt like it was bringing me back to me. So that's the most important thing about my journey so far. So that is what led me on to my training. So I trained in Yoga Nidra. I trained in the UK, and it really opened my eyes. It was amazing. It was really good training. So the training covered the history of Yoga Nidra. It introduced me to even more tracks. It really helped me to understand, with a few others in the room, what other people were experiencing from it as well. And that was really interesting to learn. So that was all an amazing experience. But when the training stopped, I then had to think about, well, what kind of venue do I need? What kind of price point should I be looking at? How do I explain it? What are the benefits? What are more of the scientific benefits? What do I need to think about in terms of equipment? What kinds of equipment works best? There were so many things. How do I script write? So there were many things that I had to test when I did my classes out there, and I promoted it, and I did all of those things. I looked at what worked, what didn't. I wrote my own scripts, how I changed them, how I took feedback, what people were looking for. These are all things that have led me to where I am now in my journey. During this time where I was just doing this track and a couple of other ones throughout the day, and especially before I went to sleep at night, I was realizing that it was really helping me to balance the difficulties from every day, because every day has that. No matter what you do, no matter how calm you are, these difficulties always present themselves, and typically 10 minutes before you're about to go to sleep or in the middle of the night. And what it did was it helped me feel emotionally calm. It helped me get a sense of me. In the medium term, it really brought me back and reminded me of a time where I was actually this calm, which was probably my younger years. It's different for us all, but that's what it took me back to. It helped me to improve my sleep. I was sleeping for longer, but not just that, my quality of sleep was better. Most of us struggle with sleep these days, and this was one of the key benefits for me. It didn't just help me close my eyes and go to sleep, it actually helped me to stay asleep. And more than that, it actually helped me to have a peaceful sleep, an emotionally peaceful sleep, where I wasn't waking up halfway through in any kind of anxiety or panic about anything I had to do later that day, or I don't know, something stupid I did 10 years ago that wasn't even relevant now. It really did help me to feel peaceful and have a peaceful 8 hours sleep. Yoga Nidra has also helped me to listen to my body. We all hear it. We all hear that. Listen to your body more, tune in. Well, how? Yoga Nidra is the how. And for me, it really helped me to understand where my pain points were, what the heaviness meant, you know, and just how anything I take in that day, where it's being stored in parts of my body, to the point where I would just be able to now have that tool with me and tune in at night when I was doing my Yoga Nidra and let that go. And more importantly, I knew that I would have an outlet later in the day or later that night if I needed to pull on it, and that it would work. I was always somebody that would typically react and get very angry and annoyed at anything in the day, whether that was an irritating email, whether that was, oh, here, have some more workload because what you have isn't enough, let's just have some more, or whether it was somebody nearly crashing into me in the car. You know, we all have these moments, and when they build and build and build, unless you've got that outlet to let them out, like Yoga Nidra did for me, it's very, very difficult. And that really taught me that, because I just thought that's how I was and that's how I would always be. I'm naturally high energy, I get angry and I get annoyed. But when I saw myself behaving differently, I saw in me that these situations and these stress triggers would still occur, but this motor in me had just kind of turned right down and really kind of paused me from reacting out or becoming stressed to it and reacting to it. It stopped me from reacting in the way that I normally would to it. I'm not an angry person, I'm not aggressive, but I would really get upset sometimes or annoyed. And again, like when I say these things build and build, they're not helpful in the end when they've built up that much and you're going back to the same place the next day. So it's great for that. Another benefit that it brought me in my personal journey was that it helped me to slow my thoughts down. Having thoughts is one thing. I mean, neuroscience says we have around 12,000 thoughts a day. But for me personally, I noticed how fast those thoughts were and how interchanging they were. And it was like I just couldn't concentrate on one thing at once, because what was being asked of me in the workplace was do everything. So one of the things that Yoga Nidra really helped me with was to help me focus more. It helped to slow everything down in my mind and really just help me to kind of be able to feel okay with doing one thing at a time. And that's yet another beauty of it. I will do another video on a personal journey one day, I'm sure. But throughout my life, like you watching, I have had some quite big things to deal with, some traumas, and I've always dealt with them at the time that I needed to deal with them. But what Yoga Nidra did for me was to help me unearth even more, not traumas, but deep things that I had just got on with, because that's what you do, you get on with it. You have these experiences and then you move on and you get through it. But it helped me to recognize some areas that I might still need to work on, or might just need to get some therapy on, or be able to put it to bed a bit more. So that was really, really helpful. Sometimes through Yoga Nidra, I would get these fleeting thoughts that would come to me and that would help me problem solve. So I would be relaxing, and typical when you want to not think. Sometimes when your brain has spent a significant time trying to problem solve, it won't always stop. In the beginning of Yoga Nidra, certainly. But I would get these fleeting thoughts, and like I always say to you, allow what happens to happen, embrace it, be kind to it, and be kind to you. I would be thankful that that solution came through and those ideas came through, and I would then let that go. But that's what I found quite helpful during some sessions of Yoga Nidra. The most important thing that I felt, and I still feel through Yoga Nidra, is the self-love it has given me, the ability for me to accept myself. I've always been quite confident anyway, I have, but it's life. There will be things that will knock you sideways, knock you upside down, and things that stay with you that you wish wouldn't stay with you. And in the same sense that they make you who you are, they can take you away from you. And what Yoga Nidra does is, for me, it takes me back home. It takes me back to who I am. And it will always do that. And for that, I'm incredibly thankful. For the past few years, I've been practicing Yoga Nidra every day without fail, okay? There was 1 week I had off, and that was because I wanted to see just what it would be like. And I didn't really like. That was probably not the best week of my life, because as such is life, things happen, and I don't know if they all happened that week together on purpose, I don't know. But yeah, I had no outlet, and I felt like even if I did other things to try and relax, like even just a 5-minute meditation, it still didn't do it. It didn't it didn't do it for me. It didn't go deep enough. So every day I either do an hour or I do 30 minutes, and I decide that depending on how I feel in that moment. So that's my Yoga Nidra journey, and it's a journey that will be never ending. I'll tell you in another 10 years how it's going, okay? And I hope that you enjoy your experience and your road and travels into this beautiful, beautiful practice. And if you have any questions at all, at any time, please just get in touch with me, either on social media or via email. Take care. Bye-bye.